Welcome to Phoenix Over 40. I'm Noi, and I'm all about helping women become their bravest self. The problem is, after decades of self-destructive thoughts, habits, and behaviors have created chaos in our lives, this process can be pretty challenging, especially when we have to add the changes in our bodies that we face during our middle ages. I was 40 when life crumbled around me. I had to reinvent myself, and I spent 4 years overhauling my life so that I could achieve the freedom I needed in my mind, body, and relationships and become my bravest self. During this time, I discovered and developed the Phoenix Transformation Philosophy, which is the quickest and most efficient way to rise from the ashes of midlife mayhem, happier, healthier, and hotter. If you're new to the group, I share pieces of this philosophy all over the private Facebook group, and they can all be found in the guides section. I also have a website, phoenixover40.com, and a YouTube channel full of my videos. I am also pleased to announce that I will be speaking at a free online women's summit later this month, the Clarity, Confidence, Connection Summit. And it's a yearly online women's conference full of amazing personal development speakers who all have powerful messages to share for anyone wanting to break through their barriers and unleash their inner badass. The tickets are absolutely free, ladies, and you don't have to come the entire time. You're given information about each of the speakers and can select when during that Thursday and Friday that you can drop in. Now, if you want, you can upgrade to the VIP ticket, and that includes the recordings of all the speakers along with VIP gifts that each of us have contributed, and they are worth $40,000 with all of our gifts. Isn't that amazing? The VIP tickets start off at $47 for the early bird registration. That is happening right now. And then they will jump up to $97 during the conference. That's a huge deal considering all of the amazing things that you'll get. So don't put this off. Grab your spot because there are only limited spots available. Now in today's video, we're continuing our series on creating the Phoenix Fire of Transformation. So let's start with a quick recap. The Phoenix Fire is the proven formula for achieving long-term identity change, which means moving from one way of being to another. And it's patterned after the formula for actual fire, which is heat, fuel, and oxygen. In the Phoenix Fire of Transformation, those same elements represent a compelling vision, a strategic plan, and external support and accountability. Last week, we discussed how to light your fire with a vision so clear and compelling that it effortlessly pulls you toward your bravest self. This is the spark that lights the Phoenix Fire, and I call it the Fire Starter Framework. If you'd like a link to that video, please drop in the comment section Fire Starter, and I'll be happy to send you a direct link to that by messenger. This week, we will be discussing the Bonfire Blueprint. This is the strategic plan with the right steps in the right order to avoid the brain booby traps and accomplish long-term identity change. In this video, I will share with you the methodology that I used over and over again to accomplish each little upgrade of my identity, from victim mindset to victoriously authentic, from emotionally scarred to empowered and resilient and confident, from financially destitute to financially debt-free, and from 25-year employee to a successful entrepreneur. I've personally tested and tweaked this methodology so many times for each little upgrade that I now offer customized programs that last only 90 days. And if you would like more information about moving from one identity to another in 90 days, drop the comment transformation into the comment section, and I would be happy to explain how that works. So let's get to the heart of the matter, identity change. First of all, I discuss identity change a lot in my previous videos. It's the only way to accomplish long-term change. This is because our identity is a series of belief systems that we've developed over our entire life. These belief systems run the show from the background, from our subconscious mind, and they're created after years and years of experience to have reinforced and proven them right. The problems arise when those belief systems become out of date and prevent us from changing our circumstances. After we've identified what we want for our future in my last video, we need to then create the plan to accomplish it. And that is the Bonfire Blueprint. So every Bonfire Blueprint must have 3 standards. The first standard for your Bonfire Blueprint is awareness. We need to move from chaos to curiosity. I actually discussed how to do this in a previous series called Moving from Chaos to Curiosity. In this series, I talk about treating our life like a detective and going on a chaos hunt. Chaos results from something being out of balance. We may have chaos in our body, chaos in our mind, chaos in our relationships, or even chaos in our careers, especially when we feel like we're not living into our life purpose. When one of our belief systems is at odds with reality, that is when chaos shows up. When we bring awareness to that chaos and remove judgment or frustration, our brain allows us to address it from a different angle. For instance, if we're having a conflict in one of our relationships, we feel like someone is totally annoying or doesn't understand us. Maybe he's trying to provoke us or is disrespecting us constantly. Well, that then creates chaos in our life, right? In our mind and our body, and especially in that relationship. Well, when I look back at my marriage, I believed that my husband was intentionally choosing to emotionally abuse me for a very long time. Everything he did and said to me was disrespectful. Every fight we had stung worse than the last. Every insult he hurled carved itself on my heart, and my heart became so full of scar tissue, I had no room for love left. My libido became non-existent. My nervous system flooded my body with cortisol, forcing me to retain stress weight around my belly. My confidence was shot because my mind would just replay his words over and over again to the point where I felt out of control emotionally. That is chaos. And it resulted in 7 stress-related illnesses because I didn't know how to bring awareness to the game that was really going on in the background of my own identity. Now that I've learned so much more about neurology and belief systems, I can see now that I was choosing to give my power to him for 20 years. I was partnering with the lies that he was throwing at me and allowing that chaos to exist. And because his belief systems about me were not in alignment with reality or my belief systems or even what God says about me, my body was trying to get my attention by creating chaos. I was suppressing my authenticity in that marriage by believing his ideas and allowing my ego to be molded by someone else. The only way to avoid this type of chaos is with curiosity. What was he trying to accomplish when he would hurl insults at me? What was going on in his mind? And what was he really asking for in those moments? That's getting curious about what's really going on. Instead of defensiveness and anxiety, do you see how curiosity can diffuse that chaos? By training our brain to look at chaos with curiosity, we destimulate our nervous system and allow ourselves to rise into a position of awareness. Once we're in awareness, we have the ability to create action steps because our body and our brain is working optimally. If you would like a link to my Moving from Chaos to Curiosity series, I invite you to drop the comment chaos into the comment section, and I'd be happy to share that with you. The second step for creating your Bonfire Blueprint is to address the entire system. As a project and program manager for many years, I look at life through the lens of systems theory. This means that I look at how all the components of someone's life work together to create one giant system. When it comes to belief systems, that same belief often shows up in different ways in different areas of our lives. If we have a scarcity mentality with money, we might also have a scarcity in mentality when it comes to food or even love. Finding those connections involves deep analysis and curiosity to get to the root of the chaos, instead of throwing medication or quick fixes at the situation, something that really frustrated me about Western medicine and fad diets. Medication only treats the symptoms, and cookie cutter programs and quick fix gimmicks may yield short-term results, but they fail 98% of the time because they don't deal with the whole picture: mind, body, and spirit. For instance, let's take a short-term cleanse program such as the Master Cleanse. This is a 10-day detox cleanse that promises better sleep, more energy, clarity of mind, weight loss, all the things that a short-term detox normally promises. This quick fix kind of detoxifying cleanse involves drinking nothing but lemon water with maple syrup, cayenne, and pepper, along with taking a laxative for 10 straight days. Now, already, this is pretty extreme and dangerous to your body. Lots of red flags here. The severe calorie deficit alone and unbalanced nature of such an extreme cleanse will not yield physical benefits because our body and brains were designed to resist starving to death. Having tried this cleanse in the past, before I learned about proper health standards, I can say that I didn't make it past day 3 because it didn't even attempt to address the psychological or spiritual factors that humans need to address whenever they're trying to implement change. You see, our brains are wired to resist change. Most of the time, our cravings for food are actually psychological signals for nourishment of some kind, but rarely are they actually for food, unless we're starving to death. Now, then it might be from too little bit of calories. Now, here at Phoenix Over 40, every one of my programs incorporates 3 things. And these are like the 3 legs of a stool. You just can't skimp on any one of them. And those 3 things are body optimization principles, mental mastery strategies, and spiritual centering techniques. Take my Jumpstart program protocol. This is the most gentle yet effective detoxifying cleanse that I have ever personally experienced. And that is because it addresses the physical needs of our bodies, the mental thoughts and beliefs that need to be nourished, and the spiritual energy shifts that push physical as well as emotional toxins out of our body. In only 14 days, you're left not only feeling pounds lighter physically, but emotionally more regulated, confident, and in control. Now, if you'd like more information about this particular program, feel free to check out my website at phoenixover40.com/jumpstart. The Jumpstart program is just the tip of the iceberg because it only lasts 14 days, and the goal is simply to detox. But when it comes to longer-term identity change, I use the same legs of a stool in my 90-day programs. They carry these principles even further and allow more opportunity to practice and rewire resistance as it arises, which leads me to the last standard that every good plan must have. Your Bonfire Blueprint must incorporate small steps over time. We can't run very far at a full-out sprint. There's a point when our brain and body says, no mas. When it comes to igniting our fire and implementing our program, we always run into times when the belief system in our brain starts rubbing against the reality that we're trying to create. That is called resistance. Think of the process of giving birth. Contractions are the physical separation of our pelvic bones, and they are supremely uncomfortable. The difference between labor and our bravest self, however, is you can't turn back during labor. But when it comes to changing our identity, we are wired to avoid pain. Have you ever made a New Year's resolution? 39% of US adults set New Year's resolutions every year. Yet 23% quit in the first week, and 41% quit within the first month. This means that only 36% of people make it past the first month. Why is that? It's because this is an example of resistance. Our brain is designed to prevent against change and anything that's threatening our belief systems. There are psychological reasons for everything that we have in our current reality. Our body, our careers, our relationships, and our financial situation are all choices that we make and continue to choose each day from the recesses of our subconscious mind. If you're trying to lose weight and you have had a hard time doing it, perhaps subconsciously you don't feel like you deserve to get fit. Or maybe we're surrounding ourselves with excess weight or habits as a protection mechanism because we've been hurt by people in relationships. We are always going to win the game that we're playing. And the trick is moving slow enough to identify what that game is. Just like giving birth, if we push through the heavy labor and take it slowly, there's a huge release of pressure when our new belief system finally takes control. I addressed this concept in 2 previous series that I taped, Working Smarter, Not Harder to Win the Game You're Playing, and the Breaking Down Barriers series, where we break down barriers such as fear. If you'd like a link to either of those videos, drop the words smarter or barriers, and I would be happy to send them to you. Self-sabotage shows up and always will when we try to upgrade our identities. That's why it's important to make little changes rather than jump headfirst into a new plan only to push ourselves beyond our mental and physical limits and then turn around. When self-sabotage shows up, we can get curious about it, try to identify what we're actually believing about the situation. And if we're having trouble doing that for ourselves, that's where the third leg of the Phoenix Fire comes in, outside support and accountability, which is our topic for next week, by the way. So Phoenixes, just to recap, when it comes to creating a foolproof plan for getting from point self to point bravest self, we need 3 things. We need to begin with awareness and move from chaos to curiosity. We need to treat the entire system physically, mentally, and emotionally. And we need to incorporate small steps over time to avoid brain booby traps and self-sabotage. If you're interested in learning more about my customized programs and how I successfully help women upgrade their identities to rise from the ashes happier, healthier, and hotter, then comment the word RISE in the comment section, and I will reach out to you via Messenger. We can hop on a quick call and get to know each other. Thank you for joining me here today. Next week, I will be discussing the final leg of the Phoenix Fire of transformation, which is the accelerant element, the external source of truth that provides oxygen to keep that fire lit the entire way. So join me next week, same time, same place. As always, I'm Noi, it rhymes with joy, and I invite you to be beautiful, be bold, be brave, Phoenixes.